For centuries, the Galactic Council had dismissed Earth as little more than a curiosity. Nestled in the spiral arm of the Milky Way, humanity was catalogued, observed, and mocked. Reports filed in the Council's grand archives labeled them reckless, primitive, and above all, harmless. Their wars were seen as signs of immaturity, their resilience interpreted as desperation rather than strength. "Let them burn each other with their crude weapons," one counselor had once said. "By the time they discover true interstellar travel, their planet will be a graveyard." The galaxy believed it. And so, for centuries, humanity was underestimated, but humanity remembered. When the Veil Dominion came, the Council didn't even bother to intervene. Why would they? The Veil's fleets were titanic, armadas of steel stretching across the stars, powered by centuries of conquest. To the Veil, Earth was a prize ripe for plucking, its resources rich, its people weak. They expected no fight. On the first day of invasion, Veil warships darkened the skies above Earth. Their demands were simple: surrender, serve, or perish. Humanity refused, and so the bombardments began. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and millions perished. But something unexpected happened. The humans did not collapse. Instead of panic and disarray, the invaders found stubborn resistance. Militaries across Earth coordinated with surgical precision, striking at supply ships, sabotaging landing forces, and adapting at terrifying speed. The Veil, who had crushed a dozen civilizations before Earth, were forced into an extended campaign. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still the humans fought on. The Council observed with growing confusion. "Impossible," they whispered among themselves. "How can a single planet resist the Dominion?" They had forgotten humanity's nature. Earth was a cradle of storms, predators, and endless competition. Every war, every disaster, every hardship had forged resilience into human bone and blood. The galaxy mistook brutality for weakness, but it was preparation. The first true shock came when Veil Command received reports of orbital ambushes. Human ships, small, outdated, little more than armored freighters with cannons, were expected to fall quickly. Instead, they fought like predators. They swarmed, retreated, regrouped, and struck again. Losses mounted. The Veil laughed it off. "These are desperate acts of savages," their commanders said. "Their spirit will break," but their spirit did not break. Then, on the 93rd day of the war, the galaxy saw what humanity had. Hidden. From the shadows of the Oort cloud, the first great Terran fleet emerged. Vast carriers, bristling with weapons unseen by the Council, unfolded from the dark. Destroyers with stealth plating slid forward like wolves among sheep. They had been built in silence, hidden where no prying eyes could see, beyond the reach of Council probes. For centuries, humanity had played a dangerous game, appearing weak, while in secret they prepared for the inevitable day the stars came for them. When those ships entered the war, the balance shattered. Veil fleets found themselves hunted. Terran carriers launched swarms of strike craft with tactics the galaxy had never imagined. Human destroyers struck supply lines, crippling the Dominion's logistical chains. Massive dreadnoughts, forged in the shipyards of Luna and Mars, joined the fight, their guns tearing through the Veil's invincible cruisers. Every battle turned. Every engagement became a slaughter, but not for humanity. The Council watched in disbelief as a single species, once thought pitiful, stood toe-to-toe with one of the galaxy's great powers. But humanity was not finished. On the 150th day, another fleet arrived. This time from deep interstellar space. Long-range explorers, thought lost to the void, returned not as fragile science vessels but as warships, fortresses bristling with weapons, carrying with them technologies, scavenged, reverse-engineered, and perfected in the shadows. Then came more. Sleeper fleets, hidden in asteroid belts, stirred awake. Secret colonies at the edge of known space unveiled their arsenals. Humanity had spread further than the galaxy ever suspected, preparing quietly for the day they would need to rise. And rise they did. By the 200th day of the war, the truth was undeniable. Humanity's fleet was vast, larger, more advanced, and more disciplined than any the Council had seen in centuries. The Veiled Dominion, once arrogant in its supremacy, was now retreating, shattered by an enemy they had scorned. In the council chamber, silence fell. "What have we done?" one counselor whispered. They remembered how they had laughed at Earth, how they had ignored its pleas for recognition, how they had allowed the Dominion to descend upon it. Now, the galaxy stared at its greatest miscalculation. The humans had not been weak. They had been waiting. And when the war ended, when the last Veil warship was reduced to drifting wreckage, a message was broadcast across the stars. It was not a plea, nor a threat. It was a truth spoken with iron certainty. We are humanity. We are the children of Earth. You underestimated us once. You will never do so again. The galaxy shuddered, for where once they had seen a primitive backwater, they now saw something else. An empire rising, forged not in arrogance, but in blood, fire, and silence, and all knew. The age of humanity had begun. The Galactic Council chamber shimmered with light, a great dome suspended over the stars. Representatives from 100 civilizations gathered, their voices echoing in 1,000 tongues, yet unified in laughter. At the center stood Earth's envoy, a tall, scarred man, draped in the navy blue of the Terran coalition. He had come with a request, a simple one: equal rights among the stars. "Recognition?" sneered the Rayleigh delegate, her translucent wings quivering with disdain. "Your kind has barely left its cradle. You squabble over scraps of soil and water. What place do primitives have in this chamber?" The laughter spread, rippling through the delegates like cruel fire. Another voice, deep and resonant, joined. In mockery. It was the Torqual representative, whose people had conquered entire systems centuries before humans had tamed electricity. "Your fleet is pitiful. A handful of outdated frigates, a scattering of corvettes. You dare call this power? You dare demand rights?" The human envoy stood silent. His eyes, however, did not waver. The council did not notice the steel in that gaze. They only saw weakness, and weakness, to the galaxy, was an invitation. When Earth's petition was rejected, the whispers began: contain them, crush them, end their arrogance before it grows. The Sarathi Dominion volunteered first. Their fleets were vast, their pride even greater. "We will remind these humans of their place," their commander declared. Within weeks, a demonstration fleet sailed toward Earth, a wall of silver warships cutting across the void. The Council approved. They expected a swift resolution. When the Dominion fleet arrived in orbit, their commander broadcast his message to every screen on Earth: submit or be annihilated. The human reply was short: no. The first bombardments fell within the hour, and yet to the Dominion's astonishment, the humans did not surrender. Civilian ships scattered into asteroid fields, military fleets struck with precision, and orbital defenses unleashed barrages far stronger than expected. The Sarathi lost ships, not many, but enough to sting their pride. Angered, they escalated, gathering more ships and preparing to reduce Earth to ash. It was then the galaxy witnessed something no one expected. The skies split open. From hidden jump points, hundreds of Terran warships erupted into real space. They came not from Earth itself, but from the edges of the system, from stations hidden beyond Neptune's orbit, from bases cloaked in the asteroid belt. Carriers the size of cities unfolded their hangars, releasing swarms of strike craft. Stealth. Destroyers decloaked within the Dominion's formation, tearing through cruisers with railgun fire. Colossal dreadnoughts, forged in secret shipyards on Luna and Mars, joined the fight, their guns roaring with the fury of a species long underestimated. The Dominion fleet was surrounded. Panic spread through their ranks. These were not the ragtag defenses they had been promised. This was a war machine, disciplined, vast, and utterly merciless. The council chamber erupted in confusion as reports poured in. Delegates shouted, argued, and denied. "Impossible!" they cried. "Earth has no such fleet. Our records, our spies, none of this exists." But it did. For centuries, humanity had hidden its true strength. While the council mocked their outdated frigates, humans had built in silence. Shipyards deep within hollowed asteroids, hidden. Colonies beyond mapped space, sleeper fleets that waited in frozen darkness. All of it prepared for this moment. The Sarathi fleet did not last a day. By dusk over Earth, their flagship was nothing more than drifting debris, and their commander's last transmission was a scream cut short by fire. The galaxy trembled, and still more fleets arrived. From beyond Sul, out of the void between stars, long-range Terran expeditions returned. These were thought lost. Fragile science vessels sent centuries ago, presumed dead. Yet they came back as titans. They had scavenged alien wreckage, reverse-engineered technologies, and returned armed, with weapons no one recognized. Plasma cannons that tore through shields, rail accelerators that punched holes through dreadnoughts, quantum torpedoes that ignored armor. Every battle was a revelation, and every revelation shattered the illusion of human weakness. The council watched helplessly as the balance of power shifted before their eyes. Empires that once scoffed at Earth now whispered in fear. The humans were not prey. They were predators, patient ones. Within weeks, the Terran coalition broadcast a message across the stars. The envoy who once stood, mocked, now spoke to the galaxy. "You laughed at us. You dismissed us. You sent fleets to burn us. Now you see the truth. We were never weak. We were preparing. The age of humanity begins today." The words reverberated across every channel, every frequency. Some empires scrambled to form alliances, begging the council to act. Others fell into silence, unwilling to provoke the new power that had risen overnight. The dominion that had struck first was shattered, its fleets broken, its pride in ruins. And as Earth's fleets expanded outward, colonizing with deliberate precision, the galaxy realized it was too late. They had mocked humanity for being small, but in truth, Earth had always been vast. Its people were billions. Its will was unbreakable. Its fleets were endless. The Council's mockery had turned to fear. For centuries, the galaxy had dismissed humanity as children playing at war. But now, as Terran fleets spread like wildfire through the stars, every empire remembered the lesson too late. You do not laugh at predators. You do not underestimate wolves. And above all, you do not provoke humanity. For centuries, humanity endured humiliation at the hands of the galaxy. They were tolerated in trade lanes but denied fair markets. Their ships were harassed by pirates the Council secretly sanctioned. Their colonies, small and fragile, were treated as prey for slavers and raiders. The Council dismissed every Terran protest with mockery. Still, humanity remained patient. But patience has limits. The breaking point came when the 7th colony was burned. It was a lush young world in the Cygnus Arm, home to millions of settlers who had toiled for decades to make it bloom. When raiders, funded and armed by neighboring empires, descended, they left nothing but ash and silence. On that day, Earth's restraint ended. A message was broadcast, not only to the guilty empire, but to the entire galaxy. A simple warning, carried on every channel: do not mistake restraint for weakness. The council chambers erupted in laughter. Delegates waved their claws, tendrils, and wings, dismissing the warning as arrogance. The galaxy had crushed hundreds of upstart species before. They would crush humanity too. And so, when the Terrans refused to kneel, the empires formed a coalition. It was said to be the greatest armada assembled in centuries, thousands of ships drawn from 20 different empires converging on Sol. The Council expected it to be quick, brutal, and final. In their arrogance, they broadcast the fleet's BD march across the stars, letting all civilizations witness humanity's destruction. But they had forgotten who they were dealing with. When the coalition armada arrived, Earth did not cower. Instead, they faced the humans' final gamble. At first, the coalition commanders sneered at the small defense force orbiting Earth, a mere 200 ships by their count. Outdated frigates, a handful of cruisers, and a single dreadnought stood against their thousands. It was laughable, pathetic, one commander muttered. This will be over in hours. The order to advance was given. Then the void tore open. From the edge of Sul, far beyond the reach of sensors, fleets began to emerge. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. Ships the size of cities, carriers bristling with endless strike craft, stealth destroyers decloaking in the heart of the coalition's formation. Dreadnoughts larger than any in Council records slid into view, their cannons charged with energies never before seen. The galaxy had never realized the truth. Humanity had been building in secret for centuries. While their colonies were raided, their trade suppressed, their people mocked, behind the veil of silence Earth had prepared. Mars had become a fortress, its shipyards churning out leviathans of war. Luna's caverns hid factories the size of mountains. The asteroid belt was hollowed into arsenals. Even Pluto had been remade into a hidden dockyard for stealth fleets. But it did not end there. From deep space, beyond charted stars, came more. Generations ago, humanity had launched colony fleets into the void, lost by Council records. They were not lost. They had thrived, building fleets of their own, waiting for the day Earth called them home. That day had come. The coalition fleet, once so confident, now faltered. Their formations broke as Terran fleets surrounded them from every vector. Their shields collapsed under rail accelerators that punched holes clean through battlecruisers. Quantum torpedoes tore apart flagships in bursts of white fire. Strike craft swarmed like hornets, overwhelming defenses with ruthless precision. The galaxy had expected prey. What they faced was a predator, silent, patient, and utterly merciless. The battle did not last long. Hours, perhaps. By the time Sol's sun set behind Earth, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history was nothing more than wreckage scattered across the void. The galaxy trembled. Across Council space, fear spread like wildfire. The coalition had been annihilated, its greatest empires humbled. The humans had not just defended Earth, they had revealed the truth. Their fleets were vast, disciplined, and prepared for war on a scale the galaxy had forgotten. Then came the message. Every channel, every frequency, every world carried it, a single human voice, calm, unyielding. You mocked us. You raided us. You burned our people and dismissed our warnings. You believed humanity weak. Now you see our strength. This is our final warning. Leave us in peace or face the full strength of our fleets. There was no boasting, no arrogance, only truth. The council chamber fell silent. Delegates who once jeered now shook with fear. For the first time in centuries, they faced the possibility of a new dominant power. Humanity had risen, not through conquest, but through survival, endurance, and relentless preparation. The galaxy had ignored the warning, and now it lay in ruins. In the weeks that followed, the wreckage of the coalition fleet drifted as a monument to arrogance. No empire dared send another ship into Terran space. The pirates and raiders vanished overnight, terrified of retribution. The council, once united in mockery, now whispered only one question. What would humanity do next? The answer came quietly, with the raising of a new banner. The Terran coalition declared its sovereignty, not as a vassal of the Council, not as a weak frontier race, but as a power equal to any. Their fleets patrolled their borders with unwavering vigilance. Their colonies rebuilt with newfound pride. Their people walked with the knowledge that the galaxy would never underestimate them again. And in the silence that followed, the galaxy realized the truth. They had not faced humanity's full strength. Not yet. Humanity had only revealed enough to survive, enough to make the galaxy tremble, enough to warn them. The rest, the true scale of Earth's fleets, the depth of its weapons, the reach of its colonies, remained hidden, waiting, watching. For humanity had learned the oldest lesson of all: survival is never guaranteed. And should the stars ever test them again, Earth would not hesitate, because humanity's patience had ended, and their age had begun.